blood testing. Hi, so I'm Dr. Ravi Sidanan, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about blood testing. Now, everyone is familiar with the standard blood test, the complete blood count or the blood count. Now, the complete blood count, or what is called the CBC, standing for complete blood count, will test a few main components. What it tests for is the hemoglobin, or what is traditionally called the blood count, your white blood cells or WBC, which is high in the case of infections. Then you have your platelets, which is essential for blood clotting. Now, the white blood cell also has many subcomponents, for example, lymphocytes and eosinophils, and each component of the white blood cell, when it is high, would indicate the type of infection you have, for example, a bacterial infection or a parasite infection. Now, I did some blood testing last year of November 2021, and I just want to share some of the results and just go through some of it. That's the basics, okay? Now, for me personally, my hemoglobin levels were 14.1, okay, which is normal. As you can see here, the blood test, it has a range. If you can hold it up here for them. So you see hemoglobin 14.1, and a normal range would be 12 to 16. So 14.1 falls within the 12 to 16 range. So this is normal, okay? So now any hemoglobin levels below 10 will be regarded as anemia. So remember that. So anything below 10, if my hemoglobin was below 10, then that will class me as being anemic, okay, or having anemia. And in the case of anemia, there are many causes of anemia, so you would need to do some further investigation to determine the cause of the anemia if your hemoglobin was 10 or below 10, okay? Now, also as well, I remember I spoke to you about the components of the white blood cells. So if you look here on the results, let's start with the white blood cell. See, mine is 8, and the normal range would be between 4 and 11. So this would indicate that I had no infection at the time of this blood test. Now let's say I had a lung infection. The white blood cells would be above 11, and if it were a bacterial infection, my lymphocytes would be high, okay? So, but in this case, there was no infection at the time of this blood test. So my white blood cells, or WBC, was normal. When it comes to platelets, the platelets, which are essential for blood clotting, you can see the normal range is between 150 and 400 as indicated on the chart, and mine was 249. So my platelets were okay. This indicates that I have no issues with blood clotting, which is good, okay? Now, also as well, people will speak about the kidney tests and the liver tests and the lipid profile, cholesterol. So we will go through some of that. So when it comes to the kidney test, the kidney is responsible for maintaining the electrolytes in the body. And electrolytes shown here on the chart would be sodium, potassium, chloride. And these are well within the normal ranges. As you can see, normal range and the results. So when you get your sheet, you can always look at your normal range, look at what the normal ranges are, and compare it to your actual value to tell if you are within normal limits. So as you can see, sodium, potassium, and chloride were normal as compared to when they are compared to the ranges given on the chart. Now, when we are looking at kidney function, one of the key factors, one of the key values we look at here is the creatinine, and I'm going to explain what creatinine is. Now, creatinine is a waste product that is produced by the muscle. So let's say this is a muscle here, and during normal metabolism, the muscle is going to produce creatinine as a waste product. This is a waste product. And this waste product must be filtered out by the kidneys. So creatinine goes to the kidneys, and the kidney will filter that out, okay? Now, the kidney is not going to filter out all of your creatinine. There is going to be some creatinine left in the blood. And a normal range of creatinine, which would indicate a healthy kidney function, would be, for men, 0.66 to 1.25. As you can see, mine is 7, well within the normal range, which shows good kidney function in terms of filtering creatinine. And those who have kidney disease or kidney failure, you will see an excessively elevated creatinine. If you see your creatinine that's here tending towards the upper limit, let's say my creatinine was 1.2, 1.25 is the upper limit as indicated on the chart, that would be a bit of a cause for concern, and in that case I would actually want to repeat this value within about 3 months' time to see if it is coming down, if it is stable, or if it has actually gone over the limit. And at that point, I may want to see a specialist to manage this condition, depending on what is the cause or the possible cause of the condition. We always speak about cholesterol, or you may hear about a lipid profile. Now, the lipid profile includes the cholesterol, but also includes the triglycerides. Okay, so if ever you receive a blood test request from a doctor's office to go to a lab, you may see on the chart, on the request sheet, lipid profile. All right, so the lipid profile, this would consist of the triglycerides and the cholesterol. Okay, and the cholesterol is broken down into components. I'll show you that on the chart. Okay, so if you come up here again, you would see the cholesterol here. Okay, the triglycerides is not part of the cholesterol, right? You have your total cholesterol, which is 177. The range is between 0 and 200, so this is normal for me. The components of cholesterol would be your HDL, LDL, and VLDL. So these three here, high density lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein, and very low density lipoprotein, these are the components of cholesterol. These three added together will form your total cholesterol, which is reflected in this value. Now the bad cholesterol, quote unquote, is the LDL. Okay, mine is within normal range. So if my bad cholesterol or my LDL was above 130, that would be a bit of a cause for concern. The VLDL, which is also can be classed as one of the bad cholesterols, if it is high, mine falls within normal range. And the HDL, which is the protective cholesterol, is 43, and it falls within normal range. Okay, so that is that's a general and basic way of looking at your cholesterol. Now, in some cases, you will see this risk factor here, risk 4.1. Now, the risk here, this what it means is a cardiac risk, or risk of having a heart attack or a cardiac event, based on the lipid profile. So my risk is normal, 4.1. Normal risk is 3.5 to 6.4. So my risk of a cardiac event based on the lipid profile is normal. Of course, if you want to see if a person is diabetic or screen for diabetes, you got your fasting blood glucose, normal range 76 to 106. Mine falls at 90.6. So this doesn't indicate diabetes or anything like that. Okay. Also as well, your liver, again, the same way how the kidney is a number of components, the kidney test is a number of components. The same goes for the liver. The liver here, these values here, AST, ALT, etc., etc., and all of these here too as well. Right? So all of my liver values are more or less normal. There are no abnormalities on the liver blood test. Okay, so that's just a general way of looking at your blood test. If you do complete blood count, kidney test, liver test, and the lipid profile, as well as your glucose. Okay, so that's a basic blood test. Now, there are more in-depth blood tests available, as well as urine tests available. And once this kit here, I actually had my urine and blood tested with this kit, and you can see it gives a lot more. Just hover over this here a bit. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. I will go through some of these just now, but you can see there's a lot of values being given. Okay. It even gives you toxin levels as well. Yeah, got toxin levels. I will go through a couple of these just now. And also there's some genetic testing as well. Certain genes are associated with certain types of diseases. Certain genotypes are put at risk for certain types of diseases. And as you can see, there's some basic genetic testing, and we're going to go through just one or two of these here. Now the kit itself, okay, I removed some of the non-essential paperwork, but it comes here. This is a styrofoam package. Okay, take this out. This, and I will explain these components. Okay, so this here, when you get the kit, when the doctor hands you the kit, this block here goes into the freezer. You freeze it for 48 hours, so it's cold. Okay. And this here is the styrofoam package where the frozen urine goes into. Now, these are the tubes for the urine. You've got 4 tubes, and you pass the urine into a larger than normal urine cup, which the doctor will give you. Okay, these are the 4. And after, when you pass the urine into the cup, you use this pipette to draw urine up and fill the tubes up to the allotted level. Okay, the reason they give you the pipette is that you don't spill urine by trying to pour from the cup into the tubes. Okay, when you're done with that, pack it back. Okay, then this will go into the fridge, into the freezer, and you freeze it for 24 hours. The frozen urine samples that's placed in this bag, and when this is being packed, you take this out of the freezer, put it in here. Urine goes in there. It is sealed. You bring it back to the doctor's office, and this is FedEx to the States. So when it gets to the lab in the States, the urine is still frozen. Okay. Also, as well, spectrometry is used to test your blood. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so the lancets, which are a bit deeper, they puncture the finger a bit deeper than your typical lancet because a fair amount of blood needs to be removed. And what happens is, when your finger is stuck, squeezed, and blood is used to fill all of these spots here, it shows you how to fill each circle. So this is a good fill. This is not something a bit spotty. That's what you don't want. Okay. Then of course, this goes back with the kit. And the genetic testing, yeah, they got 2 swabs here that scrape the inside of the cheek. You just pass it on the inside of the cheek for 30 seconds. So you peel this here, this part, remove it by the handle. You don't want to touch the cotton. You rub it on the inner side of the cheek, put around 30 seconds on the inside. First swab, you put it in a cup so that it will air dry for 15 minutes. Next swab, do on the next cheek, put that in the cup. So imagine you have a cup here with two swabs being exposed to the air where they will dry for 15 minutes. So the swabs have already dried for the past 20 minutes. So now I'm going to replace them inside the package. So this was the original package they came in. I'm going to insert it downwards. Right. So, okay. Try not to touch the cotton part with your hand. Again, you don't touch the cotton. It's put inside the envelope. and sealed. So the swabs, the blood, and the urine all go back as one kit back to the States. Okay, this FedEx back to the States. So my results here, you can see this is just a summary on the first page. So I got some issues here with oxidative stress as well as an omega imbalance. See 5 and the 88 is red. The zeros show that there's no real problem in these areas. For example, mitochondrial dysfunction, toxic exposure, methylation imbalances. But definitely some issues with oxidative stress. I got a 5, and the omega imbalance, I got an 8. Okay, so that's a bit critical. So I need to attend to that. And the kit and the report also shows you, tells you the measures you need to take to deal with your results. So let's just go through a couple. Okay, so here are the antioxidants, and this is how the report comes back. You can see here, I'm all critical on the vitamin A. I'm normal in the vitamin A, but I'm sort of tending towards a deficiency in vitamin A. Alpha lipoic acid definitely a bit deficient, and it also gives some recommendations as to what my daily intake should be. I could supplement this, or I can take foods to deal with that deficiency. Right, and it's okay. Digest my. Look at this here. If I come back, my omega imbalance is 8, and then when we come to a bit more detail, we can see here essential fatty acids. Oh, my omega-3 fatty acid definitely critical, as indicated in the summary. So I need to supplement with 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 per day. Okay. I also have some enzyme issues. So some probiotics with digestive enzymes would help me out. In terms of my amino acids, my taurine, a bit deficient in taurine, so recommendations are given to me as to what my daily intake should be. So it's pretty detailed. So I want to go through something that might be of interest to people, like toxins. Toxins is a big issue with people. So you can see here what your toxin levels are. It even tests things like uranium. Okay, and now tin is also a toxin. Aluminum, everybody knows that, lead, mercury, as well as some other chemicals here or elements that you may not be aware of. Okay, nickel, gallium, cadmium, bismuth. Okay, fortunately for me, my toxin levels are more or less normal. Nothing is in the red, so where toxins are concerned, I don't really need to do anything. These are some of the trace minerals. Okay, so I seem to be a bit I know I was a bit deficient in the magnesium. The magnesium was a bit critical for me, so I need to attend to my magnesium levels. Okay, also strontium, I have to attend to that. Okay, where the creatinine is concerned, on this one, the creatinine was a bit high here on this urine test. Now, I just want to distinguish something here. The creatinine on this report here, this is a blood creatinine. Okay, that's blood. This is a urine creatinine. It's different. So on the blood, it's normal, okay? But in the urine, it's a bit high. This could be accounted for the fact that I was probably working out for a while, and heavy exercise does increase the creatinine levels in the blood, giving the kidney more work to do. Hence, it would pass more creatinine in the urine. Okay, so even though my kidneys are functioning well, but because of the resistance training that I was doing, the kidney ended up filtering a fair amount of creatinine, which showed up in the urine. Okay, so look at that difference. That's a urine creatinine, and this one here this is a blood creatinine. So it's different. Okay, so that's a summary of that, and I'll just go through one of the genetic tests here. So by passing the swabs on the inside of my cheek, this is where this report comes from. Tests your certain genetic factors. So this particular one, right, I'm apolipoprotein E. Okay, so my genotype was going to be 3-4, and right. So in case of this here, right, this puts me at risk for tendency towards higher total and LDL cholesterol and a lower HDL. Now, genetically, while that may predispose me to that, you can see from the actual blood test, I actually have a pretty good lipid profile. So we'll come back to it. You see my bad cholesterol is normal. My 2 bad cholesterols are normal. And my protective cholesterol or my good cholesterol was within normal range as well. So the outcome is not solely determined by the genetics. Your lifestyle also plays a factor in how the genes express themselves. Okay. So this is just a summary of blood testing, and if you want to go a bit more in depth, you can do different types of blood tests and also couple it with a urine test. So I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, you can call us, WhatsApp us, or pay us a visit. We are Progressive Health Services Company Limited at number 4 Chincuna Gardens, Chinchin Road, Cunupia. You can contact us at 709-1980 or 747-5297.